Hey, welcome back. Today I want to show you how to measure someone's wrist. Now, maybe nobody needs this, but because I'm not sure about that, I decided I'll make a video, and if you need it, you can watch it, and if you don't need it, just ignore it. Okay? So I've got my tape measure here around my wrist, and I have a little piece of tape on it to keep it there because it keeps falling off when I'm trying to make this video. So let me show you here. So here's my wrist bone, and I do not wear my bracelets up here on this wrist bone. I usually like them down a little bit. So I would encourage you to measure where you want your bracelets to kind of be on your wrist. And because I like mine a little looser, I'm going to come down just a little bit on my hand and measure. So here's the end of my tape measure, and I'm just going to lay that over. Try to keep my hands out of the way. And you can see that I have about a 6 1/4 inch wrist right there. But that would be if I was wearing my bracelets tight, which I never want to do. That, for me, that's just my preference. So, okay, so at 7 inches, okay, you can see that that's going to be loose, and that's going to give me enough space in there to be comfortable. And bracelets typically are in half sizes, so they would start at 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2, 8, 8 1/2, 9, and whatever else. So I have a bracelet board, and it has little, I don't know, circle indent things where I make my bracelets. So I would go a 7-inch bracelet. Okay, now if you haven't got a tape measure, which some people don't, not a problem, you can get a piece of string, and basically you would do the exact same thing. So you're going to lay that string up on the person's wrist. Okay, you're going to bring that tape measure around. You're just going to mark, and I'm going to bring it down on my wrist a little. Okay, and you would just mark where the two pieces of string cross. Okay, and you can just then measure it. Now that measures about, well, don't pull it tight. That measures even a little bit larger, 7 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to try that again. Let's see how that, oh yeah, I can see that overlaps. Okay, so I'm going to grab a piece of tape. And this isn't fancy or pretty, but just for the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I got a piece of tape on there. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this around, and I'm not going to pull it tight. Okay, I'm just going to lay it, and you can see it overlaps just a little bit. Okay, so that gave me a slightly larger measurement than, and I'll lay this back down again, than I would have expected. But once I get it down, you can see it's just slightly over 7. So there's no reason I would want that any tighter. Okay, so, and you could do the same thing with a strip of tape. You could cut, or not tape, I'm holding a piece of tape. With a piece of paper, you could cut a strip of paper and do the same thing and measure. Wrap it, cut it, I would cut a small strip, maybe 1 inch wide and 7 or 8 inches long, and then wrap that around the person's wrist and have them measure it. Okay, so hope that helps.